Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here with my next Boruto anime review. This one's going to be for episode 76, which is called Incurring Wrath. I suppose first off, apologies for this review being slightly later than usual. Obviously Boruto's changed time slot as starting with this episode, moving from Thursday to now airing on Saturday, Sunday. And obviously that doesn't particularly suit the schedule of videos that I have, because Sword Art Online, the new season has started and I'm reviewing that, and that also airs on the weekend. I also review Attack on Titan, that also airs on the weekend. So all of a sudden basically all of the anime stuff that I do is all in the same 2-day period. So I'm pretty sure the way it's probably going to go is something along the lines of what you have here, where I'll have probably SAO Sunday, Attack on Titan Monday, Boruto Tuesday. I'll see how it goes as the weeks progress, but I think that's the way it's going to look. Anyway, this episode wasn't particularly great. I don't think it was terrible or anything like that. It just, not a lot really happened. It was definitely a middle of the arc episode, where there was really only, I suppose, one focus, and that was the introduction of Aoda into things, and Sarada meeting Aoda, who of course is Sasuke's summoning snake. That was the, I think, highlight of the episode, seeing him talk to her, him being, I suppose, somewhat excited to actually meet her, and then convincing him to join in on their attack plan. To me, that was for the most part the only real thing that happened in the episode. In the Leaf Village, you had that ninja Yurito kind of revealed to be a traitor, because they sort of talk about how, the only people who know about Mitsuki are, basically people who can come into the Hokage's room, and they allude to it before it's properly revealed that, oh, Yurito, as the messenger guy, comes in here every so often. He must have overheard it at some point and leaked it outside, and that's why Mitsuki's been quote-unquote targeted. So they're introducing this whole idea that this isn't all maybe just that Mitsuki did something, he purposefully signed up with some group, but that potentially someone came in and kind of took him, and he's just kind of gone along with it because he's questioning some things. So that added a little bit of an extra kind of layer into things, but not a whole lot. And I suppose just the whole Sakura kind of section of the episode is okay, she's going to be a factor in things a little bit, because we're dealing with the fact that the, I suppose, guy that Mitsuki attacked is waking up again, and they're potentially going to get some new information out of him. I assume we'll get a little bit more Sakura, but I can't see it being a huge part of the episode. I did enjoy the little conversation that Hinata and Sakura had of just, it very, very much kind of felt like kind of two friends who are also kind of parents, and them kind of having to have a conversation about what their children have been doing, of just Hinata being I'm so sorry that Boruto has got your daughter into this mess, but Sakura just presenting the point of her being understanding, because she is aware of the fact that when she was on Team 7, she would do things like this, Naruto and Sasuke would do things like this, so she's kind of very accepting of the fact that, look, Sarada made this decision on her own. She's a full-on ninja now. They're making these decisions fully aware of the fact that their rank is on the line here. So I like that they were both ultimately aware of that, and especially with behind the scenes, Shikamaru being aware that, okay, Shikadai has clearly made a decision to believe that there's something more up with Mitsuki, so that's why he's helping out Boruto. And the fact that we already know that Naruto is on Mitsuki's side and all of this, it fits and it works, I think. It's just that for the most of the episode, it wasn't particularly great. The fights with Garada, I think his name is, were somewhat interesting, but it's not really the exploration of Ryuguchi Cave that I kind of necessarily wanted to. The whole Snake Sage thing, it's interesting enough, but it's the whole. They kind of very simplified it in that any snake who has a reverse scale is angry, and so you'll make him mild-mannered by taking the reverse scale out. It's just like it's the thorn in the path type thing of just like, oh, it's a misunderstanding, and they'll actually help this snake out by doing this. I assume there's a little bit of a story to how the snake lost its eye, and maybe that it might explain why he hates snakes in the first place. I don't know. Yeah, I get the impression they could like reveal that it was like, oh, Orochimaru did this or something like that. That I could definitely believe happening. But we'll have to wait and see on that. I think they're just overly extending out a part of the plot that isn't particularly important, in that this is a Mitsuki arc fundamentally. Like the arc is to somehow get to Mitsuki, have Boruto and Mitsuki talk, have the other characters overhear this, them understand him better and his position, reveal the full details about why Mitsuki left in the first place. That's what we're trying to get towards. And it was cool initially that we were getting this kind of a little bit of a side plot to investigate stuff, where we're going to, where the summoning snakes come from, the, Mount Miyaboku kind of place for the snakes. It's just that they're not really using it in the best way, and at this point it just seems like a way to extend out and have a few more episodes, more than we sort of need. Again, I don't think it's terrible or anything like that, but the pacing is kind of suffering in that Mitsuki hasn't been in the last couple of episodes, even though the whole arc is kind of about him, and then most of this didn't even directly relate to like addressing any of our characters' specific like focus on like reasserting that they want to understand Mitsuki going forward, because the focus was so much on get the scale to get the overall snake sage to decode basically what's on the snake that Mitsuki left behind. So it's just this kind of minor part of the plot that's suddenly going to take up like 3-4 episodes. By the looking of the new opening, which I think is animated really nicely, I like the song, big improvement over the last one. It looks like this is actually going to be a fairly long arc, is the impression that I'm getting, and that they're really committing to making this actually something quite big. It looks like a lot more characters are going to get involved, but we'll see exactly how it plays out. Other than that, like it's I suppose as I said at the start, the most interesting part was Sarada meeting Aoda, and her finding out that, oh, my dad has a summoning snake. That's interesting. In that they obviously don't know the full details about summoning animals, full stop, because they were still talking about it like, oh, it was kind of weird that time Konohamaru summoned that weird toad. So they don't know about the significance of the toad sages and all that sort of stuff yet, so I don't think we're anywhere near like those characters being able to do the summonings themselves. But you've immediately, I suppose, planted the seed of like, it seems like Sarada and Aoda actually get on fairly well, so that would almost lead you to kind of believe like she might actually get a summoning snake at some point, because she's been here. They're kind of focusing a little bit on her for this part of the arc, but we'll see where they go. The only other thing right at the end is that they seem to reveal that a special ability that this snake that they're after, Garada, has, is that he can spit a venom that turns people to stone, which Chocho gets turned into stone, and it's meant to be the big cliffhanger ending of like big shocking moment. The plan seems to be going really well, but then Chocho gets turned into stone. So the next episode's called like All Out Attack or something like that. So it looks like most of the fight's going to happen next time out. I prefer, honestly, for the pacing if they just got the scale next time out and we really start to progress. But for what it is, I think it's been okay. I think that's definitely the best I can say here. I just hope they don't drag things on too much. Like if we're going to be fighting this snake for like 5 or 6 episodes still, that's going to be really frustrating. But like if they do it in the next episode, it won't have been too long. But I prefer they move along. Again, it's about Mitsuki. Mitsuki hasn't really been too much of a factor recently. He is in the preview for next time out, so it seems like next week they're probably finally going to give us an idea about what actually has happened, and then we'll build towards, I suppose, the big reunion of Boruto and Mitsuki. So that's it. That's my thoughts of this episode. In the comments, let me know what your thoughts were on the episode. But yeah, that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.